So look, I want to start by saying that this isn't a diss video, right? I'm not trying to kind of call anyone out here, apart from actually Boris Johnson. But I just want to highlight that I think the chap that you're going to see in the video, Dr. Alex George, I think is his name, seems like a really passionate guy, really keen to try and make a difference. And I fully support him in the work that he's doing and that he's going to attempt to do. But I really want to highlight how when we talk about mental health away from isolation and we put all of the focus on the individual and what they can do, we ignore the societal facts that play a huge role in the ways in which people feel and the emotional struggles and the distress in which they suffer from. And I want you to watch Boris Johnson in this video, okay? I'm not too much paying any attention to Dr. Alex in this video. Like I say, passionate guy, but really watch. I want you to really watch Boris Johnson and the way in which he interacts with the things that Alex is going to say. So let's have a look.
I'm really, really passionate about helping young people through what has been an incredibly difficult time. As you've said there, they've shown such resilience really in this time, but we need to be there to support them.
I just want to question resilience. We've got to be careful when the way that we talk about children being resilient. They're adaptable. They're only resilient if they've got the people around them and they exist in an environment that cultivates resilience. If they're on their own, perhaps have no loving and nurturing adults in their life, then they won't be resilient. They'll pick up unhealthy coping mechanisms. So that's a narrative that we have to be careful of. But there's no malice, of course, here from Dr. Alex.
Structures in place so that when children go back to school in the coming months and years, that we really help them get through this time, that we build resilience and we give them the toolkit that they need to be able to go on to become adults that are able to do what they want in life, but happy and feeling that they've been looked after. Everyone has mental health, and it isn't a bad word, isn't a bad thing. When you talk about physical health, think about sports, cardiovascular fitness, all these things. Mental health can be about resilience, about building yourself, about feeling positive, about mindfulness. It can be a really good thing, and that's what I want to do. We're bringing positivity.
So he wants to bring positivity, which is great, right? We love to see that, understand what he's getting at, right? He's been through some difficult times, which he'll talk about later, but he's talking about just bringing a bit of positivity, which I understand. But watch what happens with Boris.
The big flip that I like about what you're saying is, and the big switch is from thinking.
The big flip, yeah, the big switch. He's highlighted it twice. Called it two different things because he loves the big switch, old Boris. You're going to see why he loves the big switch.
Mental health as a positive thing that we can all improve.
It's all on you. He's not said that, but that's what he means.
And so it's not just that there's a category of people who suffer from what we call mental health problems, but there's that everybody actually can benefit from taking their mental health seriously.
So there are these people sort of over there that have sort of mental health problems, but actually most of us can look after ourselves. Most of us have got the ability to look after our mental health, right? That's what he's saying. Actually, we can all benefit from taking our mental health seriously. What he's implying is if you're not one of those, don't want to end up as one of those people over there, then you've got to it's down to you to take your mental health seriously. Now listen, I know it's important to take our mental health seriously, but his focus should be making sure that he's cultivating environments that help us to do that. Watch how he distances himself from that.
Just as we take our physical health.
When things go wrong, as they do in life, we can't put cotton wool around people. We can't prevent bad things happening in the world. But
I've got to take issue with that because Boris is going to love that sentence. Yeah, the Prime Minister, whose very job it is to stop bad things happening in the world. I mean, it's a big part of his remit. Let's not beat around the bush, right? And he literally can. I don't know, maybe like funding younger people, stop the cuts, stop austerity, all of those things. Don't talk to me about a money tree because we found that last year, didn't we? The money tree that didn't exist. Yeah, so Boris is going to love this, but we can't prevent bad things from happening, right? We can't prevent poverty. We can't prevent people living in relative poverty in England. We can't do that. That's Boris's job.
But if we can give people that toolkit so that when things go wrong, they know how to look after themselves. They know who to go to. I lost my brother this summer. He was 19, about to go to medical school, and we were incredibly proud of him as a family. And sadly, he took his own life. And I think the pressures of this pandemic, I think, played a big part.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
About that, Alex. And I can only imagine what it must be like to lose a younger brother like that. And it's fantastic that you want to use all your experience.
For balance, I agree with Boris there. But listen, I've got to be inclusive.
And all that you've been through to help other people, and maybe to reach out to people who find themselves feeling that sense of whatever it is that drives people to despair. And
Why don't we list a few of those, Boris? Whatever it is that drives people to despair, who knows what it could be? How about poverty, austerity, cuts to funding to children's services that have happened year upon year upon year? How about the queues that young people find themselves to CAMS, right, to get any kind of professional help, support for their emotional well-being? What about support for those that are struggling with addiction, right? There's whatever it is that drives people to despair, right? He's not even trying to allude to any of that, yeah? Let's put it all on you. It's your fault. You take responsibility. There is another way.
I think that there are so many different categories, and some of it is going to be about therapy and help. And I believe strongly that therapy and help can make a huge difference to people.
Not strong enough to fund it properly so that young people can get it, but he does believe strongly. You judge how strongly he believes.
And that, we're putting a lot of investment into mental health care services. But sometimes I think people can be helped by something as simple as listening to somebody such as yourself.
Absolutely agree with that. Again, for balance, we need more listening people. We need more people to listen. That's our duty as people, to do more of that. But it's not really Boris's duty to Boris should concentrate on sorting out the environmental factors that play a huge part in the struggles we see.
Talking about it, reaching out to them.
Breaking down that stigma, isn't it? And the feeling that, I want to live in a world where people feel like they can speak about their mental health in the same way as their physical health. The number of times, I work in A&E, and I've seen people come in who have, really struggled with mental health. And I'm the first person they talk to, and I think that's really sad. It's almost a failure in some ways of society.
It is a failure of society. It's also a failure of government. The fact that the only person that these people that are on their knees can find themselves talking to is somebody in A&E. Many of the people that walk into his A&E will be in a queue to speak to somebody, right, in an underfunded department by Mr. Boris. But
that person couldn't speak.
We're not going to talk about that here.
A friend or a GP before they ended up in that position. So I think the passion and the feeling for this country is we want to make positive change. We want to move forward. We have made some steps clearly. There is some positivity there with some of the change that are being made, but we've got further to go. And of course, this pandemic means we've got so much work to do. And I'm hungry, and I really want to help, and I feel very honoured to do this.
Well,
I hope I can help.
It's fantastic that you're doing it.
it's fantastic that you're doing it, and I don't have to.
It's a really important issue for our country. There are simple things that you can help to teach us all, and I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you. Let's make some change.
Thank you.
So there you have it, right? That's exactly what we're talking about, yeah. And what you have to look at is, if we just start making it all about personal responsibility, we take away a huge component, a component that is as big as personal responsibility. Yes, there is personal responsibility, and we need to highlight that, but we cannot and should not start going down this route that is all about personal responsibility, because then you take away the responsibility of the very people in power that could do a huge amount and don't. But the narrative that you're about to see over the next year or two is going to be one of what you can do. This is down to you. And if you're still struggling, it's because you're not taking it seriously. He said the words in the video, and that's what he means. And that's the narrative that we will now be fed, I can assure you.